30 seconds and counting. Astronauts report it feels good. T-minus 25 seconds. 20 seconds and counting. T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
From the Buffalo Fanatics YouTube channel, and I hope I find you well. We're partying up in here on a Wednesday night, and I'm so glad that you could join me. As you do each week, another loaded one. We'll give you another flash, because why not? We're having a good time. Thanks so much for tuning into the Smoke Break. Wherever you can find Buffalo Fanatics, you can find me, Z-Bot, your host. And this is, of course, the Smoke Break. What a week. Just when we thought, of course, as I say every week, it's going to be a boring week. Nope. We got tons to talk about. Looking forward to diving right into it. Let's see who we got in here. We got Jason Humbert. He's always in here. Appreciate you joining. James, he's locked in here on a Wednesday, a regular as always. Appreciate you getting in on the comments. Let me smoke you up tonight. Get in on the talk. If you want to join the convo, you know where it comes from. A little smoke up. Give me your thoughts. Got a lot to talk about. And we'll dive right into what was was the biggest story of the week. We had our first blockbuster draft trade of the offseason, and it involved a divisional foe for the Buffalo Bills. By far the biggest news in the NFL this week, of course, is this trade that I'm talking about between the Miami Dolphins, the San Francisco 49ers, and the Philadelphia Eagles. Let's start on the side that involves the Dolphins and the 49ers. So the Dolphins traded the third overall pick, which they originally acquired from the Houston Texans, to San Francisco for a decent haul. Miami received this year's 12th overall pick, a first and a third in 2022, and then another first in 2023. The dealing for Miami didn't stop there. They went on to trade this year's 12th that they acquired from the 49ers to the Philadelphia Eagles to move back up in the draft to 6. So Miami now holds the 6th overall pick, and their 156th overall pick was given up also in exchange for the 6th overall and the 156th overall. A lot. It's kind of like a mumble jumble right there. It was a ton of trading going back and forth between Miami, San Francisco, and Philadelphia. But when the dust settled in this one, Miami wound up moving down 3 overall spots while still securing an additional first overall pick in 2023. And if you ask me, it's not too shabby. For a team that was a 10-win team a year ago, a half game outside of the playoff hunt, not bad moving down just 3 spots to acquire an additional first-round pick. So this trade answers a ton of questions, but it also poses a ton of new ones. A few things that are almost a foregone conclusion based on these moves are that the 49ers are 100% going to be drafting a new quarterback 5 weeks from now with the 3rd overall pick, and they gave up 2 future first-round picks in order to do so. This tells us that Kyle Shanahan and the team that was in the Super Bowl just 2 years ago is still primed to win right now, and feel that their main missing component at this moment in time is at the quarterback position. James coming in real quick with a super chat. Appreciate you, James. He says, Z-Bot, bro, loving the intro and effects. You are a natural entertainer. Thoughts on the 17-game season? Appreciate the kind words. James, a lot to get into on the 17-game season. Got a whole segment coming up, so don't go anywhere, James. We're going to be diving into that later on in the show. So sticking with this trade news for right now, We know for a fact San Francisco did not move up to the 3rd overall pick to take anything but a quarterback. That's a question answered. Now, is that going to be Mac Jones, who a lot of analysts are all of a sudden predicting is going to be a 3rd pick? Is that going to be Trey Lance, Justin Fields? Who knows? But all that is for certain is that it will most likely be one of those two. If not Mac Jones, it will be Trey Lance or Justin Fields. So now the next logical conclusion, right, is the 49ers are going to deal Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't see the point in keeping the guy when it seems clear and obvious that Kyle Shanahan, he's had enough. He's had enough. Personally, I don't quite get the move. They mortgaged 2 future first rounders for a rookie when they already have a quarterback on the roster with a superb winning percentage and a Super Bowl appearance. I will tell you this right now. If Jimmy G put the ball on the hands of now current Buffalo Bill, Emmanuel Sanders, with 1:30 left in the Super Bowl, I would not be talking about this move because it wouldn't have happened. Jimmy G would remain a San Francisco 49er. The irony in all of this is that at Mac Jones' pro day, and I'll get deep into the pro day as the show goes on, at Mac Jones' pro day, strongly rumored to be going to the 49ers, he airmailed an almost identical pass in the throwing drill to Jimmy Garoppolo's, in which he did the same in the Super Bowl. The only difference here is that one involved no defense, no 2-minute drill, no Super Bowl audience. You get it. At the end of the day, I think that Super Bowl throw was the moment that Kyle Shanahan decided that sooner rather than later, Jimmy Garoppolo was not his guy. It seemed evident throughout that playoff run. They ran the ball almost every play. And that was the final straw. The overthrow, the blown 10-point lead. Kyle Shanahan knew he wanted to get off a Jimmy Garoppolo sooner than later. But the biggest factor here, in my opinion, is the health of Jimmy Garoppolo. And it's a completely valid argument as to why there's two sides to the 49ers moving up. Now, personally, I think that's part of the reason the 49ers moved, of course. But I think this decision, like I just mentioned, has been in the works well before Jimmy G got hurt last season. I get it. The guy's a glass house. He's a China doll. He can't stay healthy. He is still yet to play a full season in this league, all 16, now 17 games. But at the end of the day, he is 24-8 when he starts, and he's never lost 2 games in a row. Pretty impressive. There's no guarantee he gets hurt again next year. There's no guarantee he gets hurt ever again. But you look at what's available, there are going to be teams who want Jimmy Garoppolo for those exact reasons. Jimmy Garoppolo right now is a better option than what Chicago currently has in Andy Dalton. It's a better option than what Washington has currently in Ryan Fitzpatrick. There are teams who are going to be looking to take Jimmy Garoppolo off the Niners' hands when they inevitably draft a quarterback at 3 overall. I don't see him staying in San Francisco, not only because Kyle Shanahan doesn't want him there, but because I don't see him backing up or mentoring a rookie quarterback. Neither should he do that. He's a viable, deserving starting quarterback, and there are plenty of teams who should give him that chance. The biggest issue, however, is his contract. He's due $25 million this year. He's up for a new contract next year. Nobody is going to be willing to take that contract on. So there'll certainly have to be some sort of restructure in order to get him out of San Fran. But I think it's inevitable that he won't be on the San Fran roster come the fall. And I think there are plenty of potential suitors, one in which being the New England Patriots. Now, I've been saying this for a while. It just seems like it's one step closer now to being a reality. Jimmy G was Belichick's love child and perhaps would still be New England's starter to this day if Robert Kraft didn't keep Brady and force Jimmy G out of town. That's my guess as to where he winds up and also what I believe to be one of his best fits. But nonetheless, Jimmy G, you can expect him to not be in San Francisco come the start of the year. So let's move to Miami, where obviously we have more invested interest. Here's where it gets interesting to me. What does this move tell us? They're sticking with Tua. Now, Tua will undoubtedly be the starter in 2021 until, of course, Jacoby Brissett comes in to take over at some point, inevitably, if history serves us correct. To be honest, my money was on them keeping the third and taking a quarterback. This draft is loaded with talent at quarterback, and it just seems like right now, if you want a QB, go out and get it. And this is about to be the first NFL draft in history where we see quarterbacks go at the first 4 picks. They showed us time and time again last year, the Miami Dolphins, that they don't trust Tua in big moments. They don't trust him to lead this team. They don't trust him when it counts. They flat out showed us they don't trust him in general. And to me, it was a flat out indication that he was not their guy. It's the NFL in 2021. You either got your guy or you immediately move on. Give Josh Rosen a call. He'll be the first to tell you. And not only was the coaching decisions regarding Tua pretty telling that he's not Miami's guy, but his overall campaign was far from impressive. And when you compare him to the other rookies like Burrow and especially Justin Herbert, who was taken after him, the talent, the overall eye test, it's not close. And we all know you're always going to be linked to the guys in your draft class, especially the ones you were taken before. I don't see Tua coming close to being as good as Justin Herbert is going to wind up being in his career. How can that not bother Miami Dolphins fans and their organization? As a Bills fan, though, we should be pretty damn pumped about this. I'm not complaining in the slightest. Do I need to pull up week 17 one more time? Because trust me, I would sit here with you guys and watch that game on loop for 4 days straight. It was a slaughtering, and 3/4 of it was carried out by the Bills practice squad. Put that side by side with the week 2 Miami game against the Bills. It was an entirely different team in the Dolphins. Fitz was a viable starting quarterback for Miami compared to Tua. The game was more competitive. There was much better offense from Miami. Overall better team with Fitz on the field. It was no debate. There's a reason Fitz went in against the Raiders to get the job done. They benched Tua, playoffs on the line. Fitz comes in and gets it done. So, Bills fan perspective, I'm looking forward to squaring up against Tua for at least 2 more games before Miami inevitably moves off of him. Unless I see some drastic improvement next year, I just don't see how they continue to go down that road. And I guarantee you we see Jacoby Brissett at some point next season. I don't know when. I can't imagine he doesn't get some reps. I just don't see it. Here's where it gets really, really interesting, this trade. There was a rumor that the 49ers initially contacted the Jets to trade up to the 2 overall before they even contemplated contacting Miami about the 3rd pick. This rumor was later debunked by Adam Schefter, who reported that there was no official reach out by San Francisco to the Jets. But who's to say there wasn't some sort of informal inquiry, especially due to the fact that San Fran also reached out to both the Falcons and the Bengals, who are at 4 and 5. Miami was able to land multiple firsts and a 3rd for their pick, and I imagine the offer to the Jets could have been a lot higher. The difference between 3 and 4 can be massive in the draft. We all know this. And I wouldn't be surprised that if the Jets were interested, they could have snagged 3 firsts in addition to this year's. But the Jets just aren't interested. It's without question, at this point, the Sam Darnold era in New York is over. And they are most likely going with Zach Wilson, and if not him, undoubtedly one of the other available quarterbacks at the time. Who knows? Does Jacksonville pull a rabbit out of the hat, take Zach Wilson, Trevor Lawrence goes to New York? I don't know. One of those 2 guys is going to be a Jet. If I'm a Jets fan, though, I'm pissed. If I'm a Jets fan, I am furious about approaching the draft this way, especially due to the fact that your division rival in the Miami Dolphins just wound up being the team to take the deal that ultimately the Jets should be pursuing at this given moment. Drafting Zach Wilson is putting a Band-Aid over a broken leg. It does nothing for the Jets organization at this moment in time, and it's hard to see it doing much in the future. Every quarterback outside of Josh Rosen, who doesn't count because he just doesn't count, he had a cup of coffee in Arizona. They've all succeeded in the 2018 draft, and they've all won at least 1 playoff game. Why? because Allen, Mayfield, and Jackson all went to competent organizations who adequately built around their guy, which is the exact opposite of what the Jets did with Sam Darnold, the only other quarterback drafted in that particular draft. So instead of taking the opportunity right now to use the number 2 overall pick, trade down and acquire much needed draft stock, they are going to just go quarterback again, leaving them in essentially the exact same position they have now been in for years, except with a new guy slinging the ball. The other issue here is that there's no market for Sam Darnold. The last I heard, the highest bid on Darnold was a 3rd round pick. So when you do inevitably draft a quarterback at 3, you're going to either have to keep Darnold or ship him away for basically next to nothing. With the talent at quarterback in this draft, there are plenty of teams who would pay a fortune for the rights to the number 2 overall pick. And perhaps finally, the Jets and their new front office could start putting the pieces together towards potentially becoming a competent franchise again. They're approaching the draft here as if quarterback is the primary need, and I'd argue it's one of their least. There's a lot of irony in this, though. The Jets should be taking the exact approach to the draft that the Dolphins just did. While on the other side of the coin, the Dolphins should have taken the approach that the Jets currently are. The Dolphins feel like they're a quarterback away. And I think last year proved that. And I don't think Jamar Chase or Jalen Waddle or fill in the 1st round wide receiver blank is going to revolutionize Tua. But what could revolutionize that offense and the team as a whole is trying hard again, or trying your hand again at quarterback. That to me seems like the logical move for Miami. And at the same time, when I look at Miami, that's what I would do. That's what I saw. But at least there's some competency and some proven improvement by the Dolphins. I mean, I'm a little bit more lenient on what they decided to do in sticking with Tua. They had a decent to great year compared to their standards just a season ago. But the Darnold situation, at least for this season, I don't understand why you just don't keep him. You'd get a litany of draft picks for the number 2. That would help surround him with much needed talent. And at the end of the day, if it doesn't work out for Sam Darnold again in 2021, you now officially know he's not your guy, and you move off of him in 2022 with one of your many acquired picks. Because either way, the Jets aren't going to come close to playoff contention this year. So I just don't understand why not try and improve the team as a whole and look towards the broader future as opposed to going with another quarterback and hoping that somehow that solves all your problems. Once again, though, back to the Bills side of things. I'm watching this division just run around like chickens with their head cut off, and it's fascinating. And it feels great to finally be on the side of the fence looking back at that other side. Usually we're the ones over there running around. We got our lawn chair, we got an ice cold beer, some chicken wings, and we're watching that division go nuts. Miami's making a bunch of trades. Bill Belichick spending $10.7 billion in 3 hours. The Jets are the Jets, and they're going to try and fix a broken leg with a Band-Aid. It just seems like the right move for the Jets would be to trade down, and it seemed to me like Miami, if they're trying to win now, which they've been trying to build up to, would go quarterback. But they're doing the opposite. The logic here, I find it quite ironic that 2 division foes are doing the exact opposite of what each other really should be doing. So beyond the big blockbuster trade that we just recapped, the other big news this week, quote unquote, big news. NFL Pro Days were this week for the majority of the major national colleges that have the best talent, and those include the schools with the most notable quarterbacks. Let me start by saying I have never seen people get more impressed in my life by world-class athletes throwing a football in gym shorts and a t-shirt against air defense. I mean, we're entering into crazy town here, folks. What in God's name is going on? I understand watching these prospects gear up for their NFL career is exciting. It's something to be excited about. A lot of great talent coming into the NFL, especially at the quarterback position this year. But the narrative all week has been people shuffling around where these quarterbacks are going to wind up being drafted based on the best guy who throws the ball in a pair of gym shorts. What are we doing here? Do people realize that these guys, these quarterbacks, are the 0.000000001% of human beings on earth who have the ability to throw a football better than anybody else? That is their job. That is the reason they are at the pro day. That is the reason they are going to the NFL. Newsflash, they're good at football. Breaking news, they're good at throwing the football. I hope to God they'd be able to do what they did in a scripted practice with no defense. But why are people getting insanely impressed by this? I could not turn the TV or radio on this week without people declaring Zach Wilson as the second coming because he ripped a rainbow throw on the run in his pro day. So did Justin Fields. So did Kellen Mond. So did all of them. Why was that so impressive? Why am I supposed to have my jaw hit the floor? Because Zach Wilson made a throw that now 60+% of the league can, and in the next few years, 100% of the league can. We're phasing out the old guys. It's going to be Josh Allen. It's going to be Deshaun Watson. It's going to be Patrick Mahomes. That's the league now. Ultra athletic talent at the quarterback position. So yeah, I hope you can throw the ball on the run. That's great. Why am I supposed to be impressed by this? Do we all remember? Okay, it was no more than 2 months ago when the conversation was Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, that's it. Trevor Lawrence. Some people saying he might be the greatest guy to ever touch a pigskin. And then it was Justin Fields who was right there. Don't you remember? It was the Jets are going to get Trevor Lawrence. Oh my God, they won a game. The Jags are going to get Trevor Lawrence. And then it was just immediately assumed that whoever grabbed the 2 spot was going to get Justin Fields. But now it's anybody now. I mean, when we were talking about Trevor Lawrence at 1 and then Justin Fields at 2, we were talking about this when these guys were actually playing real football, with defenses and pads and, football, not in the backyard with your buddy throwing deep routes. Yet, ever since the season ended, all of a sudden this narrative just gone. It's gone. Now Zach Wilson, supposedly he's the best quarterback in the draft. Mac Jones went from a late first-round pick at best to all of a sudden, oh my God, he's going to go 3rd overall. Justin Fields was the surefire second quarterback off the board. I'm hearing he's a borderline top 10 pick now. I mean, we're on a one-way ticket to Looney Town here all week. I mean, I get it. I love football more than the next guy. I'll watch the guy throw the ball around in shorts. Josh Allen, he's the sexiest guy to do it in shorts. Nobody loves it more than me. Why are we evaluating talent based on this? I just don't understand it. Dylan coming in with the super chat. Let's see what he's got to say. Appreciate you, Dylan. We don't see enough of their talent from the hundreds of hours of tape. Let's make them run around some cones and measure their hands to get a better idea. Dylan, you should be an NFL scout. Dylan, you could probably make, what do you think those guys make? You could probably make $250,000, $300,000 a year with that logic. Let's go with a clipboard in an empty field house. Probably have, I don't know, what do they got there? Shrimp cocktail, probably some really nice like slider sandwiches. I'm sure they got great stuff there. I'm sure it's awesome. And let's just watch professional athletes throw a football to one other guy with like 300 random people standing around. And then let's take what we saw and project that he's going to be the best quarterback to ever do it. I mean, Dylan, I think you got a career here, dude. I don't know what you do for work, but tell your boss it was nice knowing you and put your application in. It just isn't that what it feels like? That's just what it feels like to me. I love this right here. Michael comes in. EJ Manuel had huge hands. It always works out. Thank you. You know, Michael, you and Dylan, let me tell you what. You two are going to dominate the combine next year when you get hired by the NFL, because that's the logic anymore. I get it, because I understand it's something to watch pertaining to football. What I don't get is why all of a sudden the throws that these guys are making to other professional athletes in a dome with nobody around is all of a sudden shuffling around where they're going in the draft. I just got my passport stamped to Nuttyville. Okay. Here's the deal. We can speculate, and this is why I don't do a lot of draft stuff on here, if you haven't noticed. The reason I don't do that is because you're basically sitting around playing a guessing game with yourself. None of this means anything. Mel Kiper has made millions upon millions of dollars throughout his career doing that. He's wrong 95% of the time. Of course, he was right on Josh Allen. Of course. Mel Kiper, not dogging him. Not dogging the guy at all. Legend. And he's got Josh Allen as one of his top 10 prospects in the history of his career. So, I mean, clearly he's got some genius up there, obviously. But the reason I don't dive deep into seeing who the Bills are going to pick in the 87th round is because that guy could wind up being Jerry Rice, or the guy they get in the first round could wind up pouring Gatorade on the sideline. It is an absolute crapshoot. And at the end of the day here, history tells us, out of all these quarterbacks we're watching throwing the ball around in shorts, maybe two of these guys, maybe two, are going to pan out into being viable NFL starters. Three at the absolute most. At the absolute most. And that's really setting the bar. It's going to come down to a couple of things. About 5% scouting, 45% luck, and 50% on who the organization itself is drafting the guy. That is massive. Do you think Josh Allen would have the same success he's had if he got drafted by the Jets? Clearly, no. We have Sam Darnold as the sample size. You have to go to a competent organization who's willing to build around you, who's willing to take you in, have you serve as the guy that they drafted you as, your franchise guy, and make it work. The opposite of what the Jets did. It's not easy to do, but the organization has to be ready for what they're getting into. The Jets weren't. And we know this to be certain, that this is a crapshoot, because I guarantee you, if the NFL had a redo of the 2018 draft, both Allen and Lamar would have been the first two players off the board. There's no debate. Nope. No debate. But instead, Allen was the third quarterback off the board, and Lamar Jackson essentially fell to the second round. So I don't care who you are, how much money you're making, how much film you're watching. You don't know anything. You probably know more than me, but I don't know how much more, because it doesn't matter. Nobody knew Tom Brady was going to be the guy he wound up being. That, of course, is the lazy argument. But you know what I'm saying. It doesn't matter. I appreciate these teams doing their due diligence. You have to do that. But a lot of this is just going to come down to luck. A lot of this is going to come down to the organization. And I think about it time and time again. If the Bills would have drafted Josh Rosen, I don't know. Who knows? Is he still in the league? Does it work out? Maybe they could have gotten the most out of him. I don't know. Josh Rosen was who he was. But it is just a roll of the dice. It really is. Sometimes you get lucky. The Bills didn't get lucky for 25 years. And they finally rolled a 7 or whatever the hell is good. I don't play dice. But Josh Allen's good. So they hit the jackpot there. Caroline, my girlfriend, always supporting. Love you, babe. Super chat. Hit the fun sound button. You mean the smoke up button, girl? Come on. You know what it's called. She's loving the draft talk. Huge draft girl, Caroline. She's big on the draft. Huge. She's going to join Dylan and Michael in the scouting combine next year. Yeah, so that's just how I look at this whole thing. That's how I look at it. I love watching it, but I don't understand why we read so much into these things. Right? Because like I just said, if we could do it over, the draft in which Allen and Lamar were drafted, the whole draft would have been completely different. And you can say that about just about any draft in history. Right? And we still don't even know how good Sam Darnold is. I don't think Sam Darnold has been given a fair shot. I really do not think we know how good Sam Darnold is. And sometimes I wonder, what if Josh Allen went to the Jets? Really? What would it be like? I can't imagine. I just don't know. But all I know is Sam Darnold did not have a chance in hell. And if he goes somewhere else, which I hope he gets the chance to, he seems like a good dude. Allen likes him. I got nothing against the guy. I wish him well. It's not happening there. And I just think in this current moment, he's their best chance at succeeding because the Jets can trade down and work on other areas. But now all of a sudden, I'm supposed to believe that Zach Wilson is not only better than Trevor Lawrence, but he's also going to pull the Jets out of the depths of hell because that works so well with Sam Darnold. That was the goal with him. I don't know. These decisions that, they should be made based on what these guys did in their career, not in their shorts this past week. And it's just driving me nuts. We saw Mac Jones throw one into the stands. Everybody was talking about that. We all saw the video of Bill Belichick. He's shaking his head. Nope, we don't want him. Yeah, you know what? He could wind up being the best of them all. He could wind up being a Hall of Famer. We saw Zach Wilson dropping balls into a golf hole on the run. He could wind up being the worst to ever do it. The only thing we know for certain is that we know absolutely nothing. And whatever these guys do in their pro day, good, bad, or indifferent, it doesn't matter. And I get it. I truly get it. Everyone's excited. I'm excited too, but we got like 5 weeks here, guys. We got like 5 weeks. Deep breath. Draft is almost here. But for the love of God, enjoy the pro days for what they are. Just dudes throwing the ball. Do not evaluate your quarterback based on the pro day. Let's get to some comments here. A lot of people chiming in. Kendall says, good point with Rosen. That drives your point home. A lot of it comes down to their situation. Absolutely. And I think a perfect example, really. Rosen's tough because we just don't know. It seemed like a lot of it was on him. But it does make you wonder. If the Bills went Rosen, which I think a lot of people wanted them to, right? We didn't know how Allen was going to pan out, of course. And then there was a lot of people who wanted Josh Rosen. I don't know. It really does make you wonder. The Bills organization is so fundamentally, it's so sound. It's run so sound that you wonder, would Rosen have worked? I don't know. Because at the same time, Allen's just a perfect fit, and maybe that's why it seems so sound. But that just comes down to the luck factor also. Now, of course, Bean did his due diligence, no doubt. He knew that Allen was going to be a perfect fit for the culture. And that stuff matters. As you know, how many times do I say culture on this show? It's my favorite word. That stuff matters. If you are vetting a guy, that's probably the main thing you're doing here. That's also another reason why the pro day doesn't matter. Because, yeah, Mac Jones could be overthrowing a guy, but you've seen his tape. You watched him win a national championship, and he could be the greatest dude of all time. And you could be the coach and say, yeah, I mean, Justin Fields might be more athletic. He's clearly faster. Kellen Mond might be the better quarterback, but this guy's a better fit for us. That's why the organization matters. To me, with the Jets, it just seems like, oh, Zach Wilson, new shiny object. We need to get fans back in the stands. We need to get people, we have to give them something to be excited about. Zach Wilson. It's like buying a sports car on debt to impress some girl or guy. But you don't have a house. Like, oh, I don't have a house, but I'll take the Maserati because I don't know, it looks cool and people want to look at it. But I don't think it's going to do me any good, and I'm going to have to probably get a new car in a couple of years. Whatever. Dylan, TBH, the worst part of the draft process isn't the pro days. It's the obvious news dumps, leaks from people trying to take players with character concerns. I mean, we see a lot of that. I mean, outside of the draft right now, we don't know what the hell is going on with Deshaun Watson. Last week, it seemed like it was an avalanche of evidence against him. Just today, there were 18 women who are in the same field as the other women, the massage industry, that were, are making these allegations against Watson. There were 18 women who came out and were in defense of Deshaun Watson, saying they were deeply disturbed by what they heard from these other women. Who the hell knows what's going on there? That could wind up being that. I have no clue. We've seen it. We saw it with Allen. They were digging up tweets. They were digging up tweets from Allen, tweeting out, God knows why. I don't even remember. But they were digging out tweets to try to defame Allen from when he was like 12. And then there was that one guy, of course, I think Miami, he was smoking a bong. You don't think college guys smoke bongs? You don't think these NFL guys smoke pot? Are you kidding? I don't know. I don't know. You don't know. That's a good point, Dylan, because there are times where you get into this position, such a high-powered position. There are people who unfortunately want to see you fail. Now, sometimes it's totally justified. Like with the Deshaun Watson thing, if that is legitimate, then he should never play in the NFL again. Ever, right? There are cases where it's, of course, legitimate. But when you're digging up pictures of a guy, or you're digging up some dude's tweets from when he was 9, I don't know. Does that do organizations really care? That's what it comes down to. I think that's something for the fans and the media to talk about for 3-4 weeks so that they have something to talk about. Because clearly everybody wants something to talk about. That's why we're talking about the pro days and guys slinging the ball around in their shorts. Who the hell knows? Jeff King, I agree on Darnold was put on a shit team with a shit surrounding cast and a shit coach. It's like that episode of South Park where they count out how many times you can say shit. Do you think Brady would have been as great as he was if the Jets drafted him? No. That's actually the ultimate point, right? That's like the ultimate point. Is Brady, I mean, obviously now Brady's Brady. He went and worked in Tampa Bay. We know it now, but he's also, of course, at the end of his career and he's proved everything. Who knows? That's the key here, right? It's all a bunch of who knows. Belichick made it work. Found the guy late. He made it work. I doubt any other organization or coach would have ever gotten that much out of the guy like Bill Belichick did. All right, let's get back on pace here with the next topic. And this was awesome. I mean, it kind of fell through the cracks a little bit this week, just because everybody's talking about throwing balls in the dome and the trades and stuff. But just recently, we finally got concrete confirmation that 17 games will be the new reality for every NFL season moving forward. And I know we're all starved for football, as am I. That's why we're watching dudes throwing balls with no defense. But now we're not going to be as starved next year. We got an extra game. We're getting an extra serving of football added to our plates. And that'll probably help us tide ourselves over in the offseason a little bit better next year. We have one less week to wait in the offseason. So this was a long-awaited announcement, the addition of the 17th game. But it's now finally set in stone. It was rumored for a very long time. And the initial proposal was 18 games. NFLPA came back. We'll do 17. Finally, it has been put into place. And we now have 17 game seasons moving forward. The players seem to absolutely hate this. And I get it. It's more work. I'm sure if your boss asked you to give up a week's worth of your vacation time, you'd probably be pretty pissed too, right? I get it. I get it. For all of us, it's tough to realize that football is work for these dudes. A lot of them, it's their job. There's guys who love it, no doubt, but there's also guys who it's their job. But for us fans, find me something better than an extra week of football. Sign me up. Can't wait. And the way it's going to work, the way the 17 game scheduling is going to work, is that one division from each conference will play the entirety of another division in the other conference. And then from there, the matchup is based off of how you placed within your division. Bills lucked out in the first iteration of this additional game. The Bills placed first, So they're slated to play a first place team, but they're playing the NFC least. And the first place finisher in that division was the Washington football team led by Fitzmagic. Coming back to Buffalo for yet another one. It's going to be a home game. And how that was determined is each year the 17th game will rotate between the AFC and NFC in regard to who is home, who's away. And this coming year was given to the AFC. So all of the AFC in their 17th game will have the home game. So the Bills will have 9 home games this season, which in a cool way is a nice little consolation prize for not being able to be in the stadium last year. I'll take it. One more game in the Ralph this coming season. And not for nothing, Bills fans, if we place first, we could be looking at 11 home games for the Bills in 2021 if they go on a playoff run with the 1 seed. I'm drooling just thinking about it. Speaking of which, the Vegas lines for future record predictions just came out. Thought I'd let you guys know this. They just released the new lines to factor in the additional game. The line set for the Bills is currently at 10.5, meaning with the 17-game format, they can lose 6 games and you can still cover the over. So ever since I saw this, I've been finding a way to liquidate everything I own. I'm going to sell my car, my furniture, maybe a kidney, and I'm going to put every single dollar that I have at my disposal on the Bills over 10.5 wins, because that's just printing money. I mean, I almost feel bad doing it. It just kind of feels like I'm stealing. I don't know. I mean, it just feels like I'm walking into the casino with a ski mask on and just taking the money. That's what that feels like to me. So I'm going to maybe donate some hair or whatever. I don't know if people pay for that. Maybe, but if they do, I'll do it. Any way to get more money to put it on the Bills. Just so you guys should know that, because that just seems like something worth knowing. This new format is going to give us some really awesome games, and we wouldn't have seen these games otherwise. That's probably my favorite thing about this whole thing. So some of the more notable ones that stuck out to me, of course, besides the Bills Washington game, is Chiefs Packers, Rams Ravens, Bucks Colts, and Cardinals Browns. Those are all cool matchups. I know you're probably saying Cardinals Browns. Kyler Murray, Baker Mayfield, former teammates. So I think that's a cool dynamic there. And then the other 3 are great. Chiefs Packers. That's awesome. That's going to be a great game. I keep seeing Jackson coming in here saying, can you please predict the schedule record? Already did it, Jackson. It is on YouTube. Go to the Smoke Break playlist on the Buffalo Fanatics YouTube channel. The video is right there. I go through the whole schedule and predict our record, and I can promise you, you will like what I have to say, because it's all good things for the most part. I didn't add the 17th game in there, but I will say, despite Washington having an incredible defense, and I think that they will be improved from last year with Fitz. I think it's an upgrade. I do, even though it's not probably what they want. It's still an upgrade. I think they're going to be right in play again to win that division, but the Bills are the better team. The weirdest thing here to get used to, though, is it's going to be like saying, oh, they went 10-7. Like that just sounds weird. You can't just say 9-7 anymore. Oh, they went 10-7. Weird. And now it's also impossible to go 500, which I think is also very interesting, because you either you have a losing record or you have a winning record. That's it. There's no more breaking even and kind of feeling all right about it if you're a lower end team. You're either on the losing end of things or the winning end of things. And then there's just other little dynamics here that you might not think about, but you're like, wow, this is really going to change things up. Previously held NFL records are going to get absolutely demolished. Jim Kelly can essentially say goodbye to any record he holds with the Bills at this current moment in time. Gone. Because the offense in the NFL is already unbelievably electrifying, the best it's ever been. And with an added game, we are just going to see the record books completely rewritten. And if Allen even comes close to what he did a season ago, he's going to have the pen and he's going to be writing all of the records throughout the book in Buffalo. So that's one thing to look out for. These records are going to be decimated. Another cool tidbit about the scheduling here. Should have happened a long time ago. It should be implemented right now. It's the fact that certain Super Bowls will land on the Sunday of President's Day weekend, meaning most everyone will be off of work and school the Monday following the Sunday of the Super Bowl. And we're finally going to get that Super Bowl holiday we've all been begging for since the brink of time. But this, unfortunately, is all based on how the calendar falls within the schedule. So I looked into it, and unfortunately, we won't see this happen until 2027. But it's something to look forward to. And who knows? Allen could be in his 5th Super Bowl by then. But something to look out for. That's going to be cool. That's going to be the first time that's happened. And I'm sure we all like to indulge in a few beverages during the Super Bowl. Now you won't have to get up and make a lie up to your boss as to why you are 4 hours late on that Monday. Now this really slipped through the cracks this week because it just kind of seemed like it didn't get a lot of publicity, but I think it's incredibly cool. In addition to the announcement about the 17th game, the NFL also announced that all 32 teams will play internationally at least once every 8 years. So that means we will have multiple international games every single year starting in 2022. And the best part about this is it's no longer just teams like Jacksonville, who you wake up at 8 a.m. because you have fantasy implications and you got to watch Jacksonville play Houston. That's no longer the end all be all. Every team now is going to get international attention. And the NFL is vastly expanding their reach. They're no longer just doing these games in London like they had previously. The NFL announced that there's going to be games in the United Kingdom, Mexico, Canada, all throughout Europe and South America. To me, this is huge. How cool is that? I mean, I'm gonna go nuts depending on where the Bills go. That is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Hopefully we can rule out the Bills going to Canada because that just kind of seems like an easy out. I mean, Buffalo is essentially in Canada. You could drive 25 minutes and you can consider that an international game. So hopefully the Bills get something cool. I'm hoping for like South America, Mexico, Europe. I will be on the first flight. I mean, imagine watching the Bills in like Ireland or Rio. That's you can't beat that. That is super, super cool. So I thought that kind of went unnoticed this week, but definitely something I think we're all going to enjoy. It's going to be different than anything else we've ever seen before. All right, we got to talk about it, and I know we're not all very happy about it. I'm not. Is anybody? Perhaps the biggest Bills news this week. The place where the Bills will be playing the majority of their games, of course, besides going overseas eventually, is that One Bills Drive. And the stadium got a new name this week. And it seems to be a collective agreement amongst Bills Mafia that we all hate it. Anybody out there in a disagreement? Because basically everything I've seen, nobody likes it. This has to be the longest stadium name in the history of sports. Unless you can think of another one. I couldn't. What actual Bills fan is ever going to refer to the stadium as Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield Stadium? No. They named it Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield Stadium, but I like to call it the Ralph. And that's just what it's going to be. Like, imagine this. Imagine you're talking to your buddy. Hey, yo, Bot, what are you up to this weekend? What are you doing? Dude, you already know what I'm doing. You already know I got plans. I'm shipping it up to Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield Stadium. Catch the Bills. I don't know who's saying that. Now the mark's cool, I guess. Like, I don't know. Maybe people will call it that. I don't know. I'm never going to call it that ever. And I get it. I don't like John's coming in here. He says it perfectly. Doesn't matter to me. Doesn't matter to me either. I don't care. I'm a business guy. I don't blame the Pagulas for securing the bag. I mean, I'm sure with the amount of money we all pay in insurance every year, they offered a dollar amount to the Pagulas that was irrefusable. So I'm not calling them out. I would have done the same thing, but I'm not calling it Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield Arena. Blue Cross Blue Shield would have been maybe better. I know Highmark's like the new name. Maybe we could have called it like the Shield. I don't know. To be honest with you, even if they named it like the coolest thing ever, I'm just going to call it the Ralph. That's just what it is to me. And there's older fans who call it, Rich Stadium, and that I think everybody just calls it based on what they grew up with. It was the Ralph for me. It always will be. But I don't know. I mean, that's pretty significant news. I was hoping there was rumors that it could have been some cool things. Fanatics was in the running, I guess, which would have been awesome because, we're the Buffalo Fanatics. If Fanatics would have gotten their hand in that would have been cool. Barstool would have been interesting. That would have just been different. I mean, there's a lot of people out there who, love what they bring to the table. Those guys at Barstool absolutely love Buffalo. That was on the table. But it's Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield Stadium. So, make sure to get some water in your throat and clear it out before you say that out loud, because it's a lot to handle. Brooke coming in with a super chat. Brooke, appreciate you tuning in like you do each week. You're always on top of it. Brooke says, for the love of sanity, it's just going to be Highmark Stadium. We have the Blue Cross Arena at the War Memorial here in Rock. Everyone calls it Blue Cross Arena. They sure do, Brooke. I'm a Rochester native. Haven't been up to the Blue Cross in a while. I usually get up there to catch some Nighthawks games. Sorry, Bandits fans. That's usually what I go up there and see. But I mean, of course, this year we weren't able to do it, but it's been a while. I need to get over there. They did some renovations. It's cool stuff. And no, I'm just teasing, Brooke. Obviously, no one's going to call it the full name. Highmark is what the coined name is. But if you look it up, like the official name is Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield Stadium, but they're just going to call it Highmark Stadium. But I go back to what my man John said earlier. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But that's what they went with. That was looming for a bit. And now it is Blue Cross Blue Shield or Highmark something Stadium. The Ralph. Get it? Got it? Good. Awesome. All right. We're approaching an hour, and you all know what that means. It's my best of the week and my worst of the week. And I got to tell you right off the bat here, I had a good week, so I mainly just got good stuff for you. I usually start out with the worst thing, but like I just mentioned, I had a good week, rare for me, and saw a lot of cool stuff. So let's just get into the cool stuff. Unquestionably, the best thing I saw all week was UFC 260. I don't know if you guys are UFC people, but holy smokes. The card was amazing, and there was 2 unreal knockouts. I myself am not a huge UFC guy, really, at all. But what I saw last week in 260 was crazy. The first knockout came from Sugar Sean O'Malley. Look him up if you don't know who he is. The dude looks like a human Skittle, but is one of the most electric fighters I've ever seen. And he does not come across as a guy he looks like a colorful guy. I wouldn't mess with him. I wouldn't go near this guy. He had some moves I've never seen before, and he knocked out Thomas Almeida with this hammer punch that it was unreal. And then he hit a fadeaway Kobe jumper right after he did it. It was so fluid. It just looked like he was just toying with the guy. It was wild. So that really set the tone for the card. But nothing prepared me from what I saw from Francis Ngannou in the title fight. If you don't know who he is, look him up right now. He has to be the baddest dude I've ever seen in my life. I mean, he has to be the baddest dude on this planet. I've never seen anything like the guy. Looks like he was made in the lab. His muscles have muscles, and then there's more muscles on top of that. And I think Dana White said his punches were measured and they're equivalent to like getting hit by an F-150. He won the heavyweight belt by knocking out Stipe Miocic in a way that seemed borderline illegal. It didn't seem legal. He knocked him down, and then before the ref could jump in, he gets a running start and like Thor fists him right in the face, and it looked like he just killed him. I thought I just witnessed a murder. I wouldn't take a punch from that dude for $1 billion. $1 billion cash. Nope, no thanks. You can keep it. If you haven't seen that knockout, go YouTube it. Even if you're not a UFC person, like I said, I'm not either, but it's crazy. Switching gears, other sports, got to give a shout out to Oral Roberts. Greatness from Oral Roberts. I'm a huge underdog guy. I think most people are throughout the tournament. They didn't get it done in the Sweet 16, but they were a buzzer beater shot away from being the first 15 to make it to an Elite 8. And you just got to love the underdog, man. At 15, pulling off what they did. Crazy run to get to the Sweet 16. It's a rarity for that high of a seed to get there. And they came a hell of a lot closer to getting to the Elite 8 than my Syracuse Orange did. That was, if there was a bad thing I saw this week, it was their performance in the Sweet 16. They shot like 27%. So give it up for Oral Roberts. They gave us a great tourney and even better Twitter jokes based on their name. So that was cool stuff. All right. I got to end it here. I don't know if you guys checked out the official Bills social media accounts today. They posted a video of Isaiah McKenzie that has all of Bills Mafia twice as happy that they were able to get him back. Check this out.
What's up, buddy?
Hey, Ben, can I call you back? I'm about to go wet the water.
You're gonna do what?
Wet the water. I'll call you back.
Yeah, all right, bye.
Wet the water.
Yo! Let me call you back. I'm about to have a baby. Yo, let me call you back. I got to fold the dishes.
Hold on, you know what? Let's go back here. I want you to watch Bean. This is my favorite one. Bean doesn't know what's going on.
What's up, buddy?
Hey, Ben, can I call you back? I'm about to go wet the water.
You're gonna do what?
Wet the water. I'll call you back.
Yeah, all right, bye.
Yo! Let me call you back. I'm about to have a baby. Yo, let me call you back. I got to fold the dishes.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry I was on the phone when you called, buddy.
It's all good, Coach. Hey, Coach, can I call you back? I'm buying a Christmas tree right now.
You're buying a Christmas tree?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, buddy. Call me back.
Yeah. Call you
Well,
back.
I love how McDermott he's on it. Like he's on it, like right there.
Yeah, sure.
No,
buddy.
nothing going past him. He's like, oh, whatever.
What up?
Hey, let me call you back. I'm pregnant.
All right.
Hey, can I call you back? I'm in a meeting. Yo.
Look at Trey. Look at
Hey,
him.
listen.
Look at him.
Let me call you back. I'm having a baby.
Well, why the you call me then?
Oh, Trey.
Yo,
What's up?
let me call you back. I'm Christmas shopping right now.
Oh, J.A. He's having none of it. We got to go back to Trey. Look at these moves.
Yo.
Look at him. Imagine you call
Hey,
up Trey. That's what he's doing.
Let me call you back. I'm having a baby.
Well, why the you call me then?
Oh my God. Oh, first time I saw that today, I was absolutely dying. Tre'Davious White had me rolling. Hilarious stuff. Tip of the cap to the Bills social media team, and it made me feel all the better that Lil Dirty is coming back to Buffalo. He is a funny freaking dude. That whole team, man, personality, they're characters. It's just fun to watch. Great stuff. One more thing in incorporation of the Bills, I wanted to let you guys know I have a interview with a certain D tackle coming out very soon. Follow me on Twitter at ZachB22. That's where you'll get the latest. And of course, follow the Fanatics at Buffalo Fanatics on Twitter. That'll be coming out soon. Really looking forward to getting that out to you guys. It was a great interview. A lot of awesome stuff. I'm not sure if I can release the player's name yet. I don't know what we're doing behind the scenes there. All I know is you'll love it, and I'll leave it up for surprise. You guys will love it regardless. Really great dude. Really awesome interview. That's coming soon, so keep your eye out. And then, of course, next Wednesday, we're right back at it. Same time, same place. Only on YouTube now. I wanted to reiterate that. No more Facebook or Twitter. We thought it would just be easier to get everybody to YouTube. Makes the stream go a little bit smoother, and it gives everybody one place to watch. So YouTube only from here on out. But same thing as always. Wednesday night, 8 p.m., bot, smoke break, and we got another one coming for you next Wednesday night. So make sure to join me. But for this one, appreciate you tuning in as always. And I'll see you next week. Go Bills.